All right. We are live, spontaneous live stream once again. I got to do it the Sun's Geek way. It's got to be a spontaneous live stream, guys. You guys know that. Gonna give it about maybe a minute or two and then we'll get started. Just have some quick thoughts. Some things I do want to talk about. There was sort of some quote breaking news before I went live, and I got all that ready to go. Can we get a mic check in here? I'd appreciate if we can get a nice mic check in here. Let me know if my good mic is working. For those of you who are watching live, make sure to Hulk smash that like button. Share the stream. It really helps, guys. I'd really appreciate it. If you guys could share the stream and check out all my other videos while you're at it. So thank you, JV, for saying that it sounds good. Appreciate you, man. Can always count on you. Best of luck to your Chicago Bulls, man. Um, and thank you to Ruben, who says, Suns Geek, big fan. Free agency is cool and all. But what about the new Thor movie coming out? Says Ruben. Natalie Portman's looking pretty bulk in that movie. That movie looks interesting. Christian Bale is now in the DC and the Marvel world, which is pretty awesome. But yeah, so we'll talk about that stuff later. If you guys want to ask me just a random question later on, you guys know how this works. I'm always like, I'm not going to go live for that long, but then I end up going live for like 2 hours or so. So we'll see what happens. I just got some thoughts and some notes, and kind of again, I got some sort of breaking news that has been talked about by certain insiders and Suns people that I would like to give my thoughts on. So, by the way, you guys, I was a little tired today. I'm not going to lie to you guys. It was a long day. And I needed a little bit of a boost. I needed a little bit of a wake me up. So I got my good friend Truly. This is my friend Truly right here. She wakes me up. She tastes delicious. And I don't care what you guys say. This is a great drink. So if anybody from Truly is watching and you want to sponsor me, I would love to do that. So cheers to this live stream. I know it's spontaneous. I know I didn't really give you guys a heads up, but for those of you who are watching later, I really appreciate you guys. If you guys are watching later, comment down below what you guys think the Phoenix Suns should do in free agency. And in the chat right now, let me know what you guys think we should do in NBA free agency. And cheers. Let's get this started. Oh, it's delicious. Don't worry, you guys. Got my water as well. All right. I'll do my best to get to the chat. If I get some like really good questions and stuff, I'll do my best to try to answer it. You guys are funny. All right, so here we go. Before I give you guys my free agency thoughts and everything, because there's some stuff I do want to say. Before I went live, and even throughout the day, we got some news. So I want to start off with John Gambo from Arizona Sports, who tweeted out, right before I went live, he said that he is hearing that JaVale McGee wants a multi-year deal and has several teams interested. Milwaukee, oh boy, Dallas, and Brooklyn. Not sure if Phoenix would go 2 years. Miami has emerged as the favorite for Jay Crowder. Now, if you guys didn't know, Jay Crowder has been in trade rumors since, I want to say, before the draft and even during the draft. And I honestly have some thoughts on this, but I got to burp real quick. So give me 1 second. Excuse me. So yeah, let's start with JaVale McGee. I really like JaVale McGee, you guys. I thought he played pretty well for us this season. I've talked about it a few times in my videos and past live streams that sure, he has his flaws. There's times where he gets played off the court and everything. But I really like JaVale McGee. I thought he had a really good season for us. I thought he provided good minutes and he provided what we needed throughout the season. But again, he does have his flaws and everything. But I want to say about a month ago or whatever, he kind of said something along the lines of like, yeah, I'm going to consider coming back to the Phoenix Suns, but I want to do what's best for my family. He kind of gave that like cliche answer. And I'm not saying that, his family answer was the cliche part, but just kind of like feeding the media and saying what they want to hear and everything. And by the way, you guys, I'm going to kind of be keeping my eye on Twitter because as I'm tweeting this, there's just things happening and all that. So it's going to be an all over the place live stream, but I really like JaVale McGee in short. And I think he's a great player. I think he has really gone away from that whole like Shaqtin' a fool narrative. Um, I feel like he's really improved. I feel like him winning championships with the Warriors and the Lakers and everything really matured him. I thought that he was perfect to come to this team this past season, and it would suck to lose him. This was one thing that I did want to talk about. For those of you who are just joining me, I will pull up the tweet. John Gambo from Arizona Sports is saying that hearing JaVale McGee wants a multi-year deal and has several teams interested: Milwaukee, Dallas, Brooklyn. Not sure if Phoenix would go 2 years. Miami has emerged as the favorites for Jay Crowder. So I'm just kind of giving my thoughts on JaVale McGee, guys. I mean, I really like him. Think he was a solid backup center, helped win us some games here and there. And I would be willing to bring him back for the right price. And as Gambo says, not sure if Phoenix would go 2 years. And by the way, here is our salary cap. I can't speak. Here is our salary cap situation for those of you who care. And JaVale McGee is on there. And we signed him for about $6 million last year. He is under a team option. It's non-guaranteed. And my guy Flex from Jersey, who we're going to talk about later I'll talk about this later, but he basically said that a lot of these contracts, like Landry Shamet and Campaign, for example, some of that money isn't fully guaranteed. I got to burp real quick. Excuse me. So that's kind of my point, is like sometimes these contracts look big on paper, but at the same time, a lot of these contracts and years and monies aren't fully guaranteed. So now let's talk about Jay Crowder. Once again, let me pull up the Gambo tweet. And this Jay Crowder stuff isn't necessarily new. Actually, let me pull up the other Gambo tweet before we talk about Jay Crowder. He said, and again, this was like moments ago, he said, like, not 100% sold that Phoenix will trade Jay Crowder, but if they lose PJ Tucker, it does make a lot of sense. Heard Boston is not that interested in him, maybe into the exception if they didn't have to give up anything of value, but I would be surprised if it was the Celtics. So yeah, let's talk about Jay Crowder. Once again, here's the first tweet. At the very end, he said Miami has emerged as the favorites for Jay Crowder. And then he said not 100% sold that Phoenix will trade Jay Crowder. But if Miami, if they lose PJ Tucker, it does make a lot of sense to Gambo. Jay Crowder. First off, I feel like Jay Crowder kind of gets picked on by a lot of Phoenix Suns fans. I think I said this like the night before the draft. I was talking with my good friend Romp about the draft and stuff. And I just feel like he kind of gets picked on by Phoenix Suns fans. Do I think there's lots of power forwards out there who, first off, are true power forwards? Because I don't really know if Jay Crowder is a real power forward. But do I think that there's upgrades available? Yes. But do I think that Jay Crowder has done a great job with this team? Absolutely. Do I think that he's been a great locker room and veteran presence for players like for players like Cam Johnson and Mikal Bridges and really everybody on the team, Devin Booker and everything? Do I think he's been a great influence on the team? Absolutely. Do I think he's a very streaky shooter that can get you points? Absolutely. Do I think he's a little inconsistent here and there? Absolutely. Do I think that Cam Johnson should probably be starting over him next year if they both return to the team? Probably. Cam Johnson, we can maybe talk about a little bit later because I think he's eligible for an extension. I don't know if it's this offseason, but like the next or something like that. But in short, I love Cam Johnson and I don't want to lose him. But Jay Crowder, I don't know. I'd be willing to lose him if like in hindsight I knew what the return was, you know. But you know, JaVale McGee, even before he came to the Phoenix Suns, you guys, he was one of my favorite players in the league. I'm not even gonna lie to you. He was just always a player that I always liked. And I remember when we signed him, I was like, this is a guy that can like help us guard the LeBrons, the Giannis's of the league and all that. Like, this is a guy that can do that. This is a guy that has experience in the finals, in the playoffs. And I think he's done a really great job of being on this team. Um, so I don't know what's going to happen. But here's the thing, you guys. As I mentioned, we have been hearing these trade rumors since like before the draft. And Gambo tweeting this stuff out kind of helps confirm that. I really do think these Jay Crowder trade rumors are real, you guys. By the way, we got about 70 people in here. We just passed the 13-minute mark. Thank you to all 70 of you who are watching. You are all amazing people. God bless you guys. Cheers. So I hope that helps like answer. And again, I'm going to be kind of pulling these tweets up back and forth so you guys can read what I'm talking about. I hope that kind of helps answer my thoughts on the Jay Crowder and JaVale McGee news. I really do like both of those players a lot. I really, really do. And I think they both have been great veteran presences and guys that have helped win us games, good influences on our team. But would I be willing to move on? And in Jay Crowder's case, I can't even talk. Jay Crowder's case, would I be willing to upgrade? Absolutely, for the right price. Do I think we should sign JaVale McGee to a multi-year deal? Because again, Gambo's tweet right here. McGee wants a multi-year deal. I don't think so. And I really do like JaVale McGee, you guys. So I don't know. Let's get to the chat real quick, and then we'll keep talking about the rest of free agency and Deandre Ayton and everything and all that. So let's see here. Thank you to everybody that's in here once again. Shout out to my guy JV. Who else is in here? Ruben's in here. Abraham, Chad, Herber. I hope I said your name right. I'm just trying to get caught up here. Mark, appreciate you, man. You're not late at all. I appreciate you being here, brother. Shout out to my guy, Super Mario Hoops 24. He says, need to hear the Bulls Biyombo rumors. I can't even talk today, you guys. I'm so tired. I'm like running on fumes, and I am drinking a little bit. I'm just like, blah. So I apologize if I can't speak proper English during this live stream. But yeah, Bismack Biyombo. That's somebody who we could talk about real quick. So thank you, Super Mario Hoops, which by the way, go check him out. Great content creator. It's my guy, Super Mario Hoops. Once again, shout out to my guy, Hitman X, as well. Longtime Phoenix Suns fan. Shout out to everybody that's in here. But yeah, let's talk about Bismack Biyombo, because he was on kind of the list of notes that I wanted to talk about. Sort of like JaVale McGee. I really like Bismack Biyombo. First off, if you guys have read the stories and seen the videos of everything that he's doing off the court, it's spectacular. Unfortunately, I think he lost his father, I want to say like in 2020. And he donated this year's salary, which was over $1 million, to his homeland, somewhere in the Congo, I think. And he's just doing a lot of great things. He recently met the Pope. Like, he's just doing a lot of great things off the court. But in terms of on the court, again, sort of like JaVale McGee, there's ways you can play him off the court, but there were times where he was just that energy guy. There were times where he would just come in there, and even if he didn't show up like statistically, you knew he was on the court. I remember his first game, he had this like pick and roll dunk where he just like flushed it on somebody on the Hornets. And I was just like, sign this guy for the rest of the season. Like, I want Bismack Biyombo on this team. And that's obviously what we did. But I think after a few games, we knew that we were keeping Bismack Biyombo. Because remember, we signed him to a 10-day contract on New Year's. I remember that. And but yeah, he's been really good. And I wouldn't mind bringing him back for the right price, for a cheap price. And again, I don't know Bismack Biyombo's agent or what he's thinking, but I think Biyombo would want to come back. Maybe you would have to pay him a little bit more, but like I'm sure we could probably bring him back for what I call cheap, because in today's NBA, let's be real, the NBA is very expensive. So some contracts look cheap compared to others. Um, so that's just kind of my thoughts on JaVale McGee and Jay Crowder and Bismack Biyombo and all them. Excuse me. Let's see here. Super Mario Hoops writes, Jay Crowder is at this point is meant to be a second unit player. I agree with you on that. That's the issue. The Suns rely on him in the first and closing lineup a lot, and he shouldn't be. Keywords right there. The Suns rely on him in the first and closing lineups. Throughout a lot of the season, their opening play, Jay Crowder would always get a 3 first. Through like most games, even throughout the playoffs. Like they would win the tip off, they'd get the ball to Chris Paul. Jay Crowder would like cut to like the middle and he would just launch a 3. That always happened. And that's kind of where we knew like if Jay Crowder would be having a good night or not. And I do agree with you. There were times where they would kind of use him a lot in the first, bring him back late in the game. I think defensively he is really good. I'm not saying he's like Mikal Bridges type defensive player of the year or anything, but I think defensively he holds his own, brings that toughness. But again, there's upgrades out there. I don't really know if Jay Crowder is like a true power forward. So appreciate the comment, Super Mario Hoops. I do agree with you on that. My guy Hitman X says, I believe we shouldn't trade Crowder unless he's attached to the DA trade for a superstar. I agree with that. I will get to some of these comments later. Shout out to Jeremy who says, yo, I'm a new subscriber, loving the content. Well, thank you, Jeremy. I appreciate you, man. Sawbuck says, I'm glad free agency is here. So tired of the rumors. Exactly. I agree with you. Suns Geek, more like Buzz Geek today. Exactly. I'm so wasted right now. All right, but let's keep going on here. Here we go. Let's see. Let me pull up what else I wanted to talk about. And give me 1 second. Okay, that's just from Mark Stein. Okay. So whether you got, okay, first off, I got a lot of respect for Flex from Jersey. That's my guy right there. He was once on this channel before. Him and I have been on the Suns Jam Session podcast a lot as well. That's my guy right there. He is literally, whether you believe him or not, he is literally our Suns insider. And I got a lot of love for him. So first off, this was a while ago, but he tweeted, this was June 22nd, 2022. He said, sometimes unique opportunities come up and being in the right place at the right time means everything. Phoenix has done a great job of putting themselves in a position to strike when the time is right. A lot will happen along the way, but the finished product is all that matters. Before I went live, he tweeted, nothing has changed regarding the Suns having a unique opportunity to land a superstar. When the dust settles, the DA situation is just part of the process. I believe the Suns will value flexibility in everything they do going forward to keep these unique opportunities available. I'll let you guys read that tweet for a minute. I'm going to take a sip of my drink. So keywords here. Nothing has changed regarding the Suns having a unique opportunity to land a superstar. When the dust settles, the DA situation is just part of the process. I believe the Suns will have value, flexibility, unique opportunities, blah, blah, blah. And then he also tweeted, unless Ayton is willing to come back to Phoenix for less than the max, which I don't know if he's going to do, I believe he's gone. He'll find out his true value around the league tomorrow. Sign and trade is still the most likely option at the moment. Suns are indeed talking about moving Crowder. Kyrie situation hasn't changed. I got to burp again. So there's a lot there too, you guys. He says, unless Ayton is willing to come back to Phoenix for less than the max, which I don't think he is, he's gone. He said that Ayton will find out his true value around the league tomorrow, which I 100% agree with. Sign and trades still the most likely option at the moment. Suns are indeed talking about moving Crowder. Kyrie's situation hasn't changed. I made a video last night talking about the Kyrie, Kevin Durant, Brooklyn Nets situation, which, by the way, that video did a lot better than I expected. So I appreciate you guys for watching that video. And my thoughts remain the same. Sure, Kyrie Irving opted into his contract. That's great. But you can still get traded, Kyrie. Kyrie Irving is, first off, I don't hate him as like most people do. I'm sorry if that offends you. I think he is one of the biggest mysteries, controversial figures that the league has ever seen. I think besides the whole vaccine stuff, I think he's a little misunderstood, but I can only defend Kyrie for so long. And some of the stuff he says and does is bizarre. And what's the famous quote? The best available, I can't even talk. If you're not available, like how valuable are you? Is what I'm trying to say. So sure, you have all the talent in the world, Kyrie. You are one of the most talented players that the league has ever seen. But if you're not available to play, Ben Simmons, what are you doing? But I also said on the positive side of that, I said, what if the Nets are just staying patient? And they're like, yeah, let's see what we got with Kyrie, Ben Simmons, and Kevin Durant. I don't know. Could be interesting. So again, let's pull up Flex's tweet here. Unless Ayton is willing to come back to Phoenix for less than the max, I believe he's gone. He'll find out his true value around the league tomorrow. Sign and trade is still the most likely option at the moment. Suns are indeed talking about moving Crowder. Kyrie's situation has not changed. And as you guys are reading that tweet, I'm just going to refresh my Twitter page to make sure that I don't miss anything. Flex also tweeted 17 minutes ago, the last tweet before things get real tomorrow. I trust the Suns and I'm confident we'll be a better team next fall. Let the process play out. Exactly, Flex. By the way, you guys, if I am correct, so I'm recording this live stream at 11 p.m. my time. Free agency doesn't start till I think 3 p.m. Eastern time, which would be about 6 o'clock my time, if I'm correct. In a way, though, and we can maybe talk about it later, in a way, free agency's kind of already started. Like, teams have kind of been pushing that tampering line already. There's obviously been some trades. There was so much happening today. I couldn't even fully process it. So maybe later in the live stream, I'll give my thoughts on that. I got to burp real quick. So I don't know. Shout out to my guy, Charles. Appreciate you, brother. Says, love you and your channel. I love you, man. Hope you guys are doing well. Hope your family's doing well, man. Shout out to my guy, Charles. Appreciate all of you guys. I mean, the fact that you guys are watching me is just an honor. And the fact that we keep growing this channel and the live streams is just truly incredible. So I love you guys. You guys are all awesome. But yeah, let's keep going here. Yeah, thank you, Hitman X. I can't get my words together tonight, and I decided to go live because I'm very smart. And thank you for helping me speak proper English here. Yeah, I'll just touch on this real quick. Someone left a comment. Look what happened to Miles Bridges. It just broke. Exactly. I'm like, stuff is happening as I'm going live. I'm like, it's just been a crazy night. And by the way, the Miles Bridges thing, I guess he got like arrested or something. I remember a while ago there was a trade rumor from a Hornets like beat writer, podcaster guy. And it was just a weird trade rumor. So if you take out Miles Bridges controversy going on right now and you look at him as a player, I think he's a fine player. maybe if he was on the team, I would absolutely love Miles Bridges. I was like, this is our guy and everything. But like, there was just some like trade. It was like Miles Bridges, PJ Washington, some picks for Ayton, sign and trade. I'm just like, that just, it rubbed me the wrong way. And then do you guys remember what happened like late, I think in the season when the Hornets were like trying to get in the play in? He like threw something, like he got like ejected or something. He like threw something on his way to the locker room and it hit this like young girl and then he apologized for it. I'm just like, dude, Miles Bridges just, he's not our guy, man. Like that's not a James Jones guy in my opinion. Um and again, I don't know what's going on, Miles Bridges. Someone just left a comment, felony, domestic assault. I'm like, dude, this is like, what's his name? Oh God, that guy from the Clippers. I just forgot his name. Montrezl Harrell. He got arrested recently too. Like, what is happening, man? Like, oh God. But yeah, Miles Bridges definitely now not coming to the Phoenix Suns. Let me tell you that much. Yeah, thank you, Roy. Appreciate you, man. Roy, you are an absolute legend in these live streams and in the Suns community. Said, yeah, it was a headband. It was a headband. It hit some like young girl. I don't know, you guys. What's going on, guys? Let me know in the comments. How are you guys feeling? Let me know what's going on in your life. I want to know. Ask me a random question. I'll try to get to it later. You guys are awesome. And again, we'll try to talk about the Dejounte Murray stuff later on and what else happened today. We'll talk about that later. But appreciate you guys being here. We got about 100 people in here. So cheers to that. 100 people. You guys are amazing. I love you guys. Cheers. So I guess now we can just talk about Deandre Ayton and what I think the Suns should do, really in general, not just Deandre Ayton. Let's just talk about what I think the Suns should do to improve. And that's hard for me to say. You're probably like, Suns Geek, what are you talking about improve? They won 64 games this year. Well, you guys, I thought a 64 win team was good enough to get to the NBA Finals. And I know that a lot of people don't like me talking about that. And I know that James Jones and even Chris Paul have come out and said, oh, they beat us fair and square. And I don't know what happened. It's unexplainable. And they are right. Everything bad and good about the way the Suns went out has been said. I have talked a lot of trash about the Suns since they lost in the playoffs. I've been so up and down on the Suns team. I feel like ever since the Suns lost, I feel like I don't know anything about the Suns anymore because again, I thought a 64 win team was at least good enough to get to the finals. Sure, we've seen lots of great 60 plus win teams throughout the throughout NBA history, get eliminated, but in the fashion, the spectacular, surprising, shocking fashion the Suns went out, I've never seen that before in my life. And I have studied the history of the game. I have studied Suns history. And I can't explain it. So my point being is what I think the Phoenix Suns should do. Because you're not going to get, unless you get a Kevin Durant package or just Kevin Durant, you're not going to get really the value of Deandre Ayton. I feel like I've kind of been saying this stuff a lot. Sure, there might be a surprise trade package that James Jones is cooking up that none of us have thought about. And by none of us, I mean fans, content creators. I follow a lot of like Instagram Suns pages and all that. Excuse me. So I don't know. Now, I do want to later talk about keeping Deandre Ayton. So we'll talk about that in a minute. So I guess my thought is that unless you get a Kevin Durant, for example, you're not going to get the value of Deandre Ayton in a sign and trade. And let me repeat this. A lot of people have brought this up lately, that it's a sign and trade, not a trade and sign. This isn't NBA 2K, you guys. It's not like the Suns are going to pick up their remote, press the A button, and make a trade to Deandre Ayton to go to Brooklyn or whatever. It's not going to happen that way. He has to actually want to play there. But at the same time, the Suns have a lot of the leverage here. Let's move on. Again, later I'll talk about if Deandre Ayton stays. I do think the Suns need a better bench. I have always believed that you can never go wrong with a bunch of wing players, a bunch of like 3-and-D wings or defensive wing players in any era of basketball. And again, I have studied the history of the league. You can never go wrong with a bunch of wing players. I think a lot of teams nowadays are loading up on those guys, in my opinion. But also the kind of the hot topic, and I've already seen it in the chat, and it was on my list of things to talk about, is the Suns. They need to improve their bench, you guys. We need a better ball handler. We might need 2 ball handlers and playmaking creators, guys that can score. So, and look, I mean, there's not really the cream of the crop necessarily in terms of like backup centers and big men, but there might be some out there. And if these like rumors are true about the Suns don't value a $30 million player or whatever, and they think they can get whatever as a big man to replace Ayton, I'm sure there's some players out there, but like I would not want to be James Jones right now is what I'm trying to say. There's so much besides the contracts and besides like the value of players. You really have to like focus on what you're bringing in and if it's even worth replacing Deandre Ayton for. I don't know, you guys. 3-and-D wings, backup ball handlers and creators. And if JaVale McGee leaves, you got to find another backup big. Especially if Deandre Ayton leaves, you got to get a center in there, man. We've seen some teams be punished for that, like not having a big man. I know this is kind of a bad example, but like the Charlotte Hornets, like Mason Plumlee hasn't really worked out. They could use a big man. I forgot what they did in the draft, but I think they got Mark Williams, if I'm correct. I don't remember. Anyways, again, bad example, but my point being, the Suns need a better bench because I thought a 64-win Suns team was good enough. I thought that bench was good enough, but it really wasn't. There were even guys on our 2021 team or whatever that I thought we should have brought back for scoring, for playmaking, for defense. What are we doing here, you guys? Free agency is hours away. I'm really excited. I didn't even plan on going live tonight, you guys, to be honest with you. I was going to make a video, but I was like, but then like, Flex started tweeting and Gambo started tweeting. I was like, you know what? It's like that adds like fuel to the fire. Like, let's just go live. Screw it. Again, we got over 100 people in here. You guys are all awesome listening to me rant and vent about the Suns. By the way, if you guys are a first-time viewer or if you're recently new to the channel, my name is Brandon, aka Suns Geek. If it has to deal with the Phoenix Suns, I'm going to make a video about it. Hulk, smash that like button, you guys. Share the stream. It really helps. Appreciate you guys. And we will keep talking about Phoenix Suns news and really whatever else you guys want to talk about. Because there is some other things I do want to discuss in terms of the Suns. But let's get to the chat real quick. Let's see. There's lots going on here. I'm trying to keep up. Oh boy. AJ Double writes, in this situation, I would pay Ayton because we can't get a better player. Also, he is still young. And if needed, trade him in season prior to the trade deadline. But getting rid of him now is stupid. Thank you, AJ, for reminding me of what I wanted to talk about here. And I guess this is kind of my final thoughts on the whole DeAndre Ayton thing before free agency starts. Let me take a sip of my drink here before I tell you guys my thoughts. I love Trulies. All right. If the Phoenix Suns run it back, which I'm all for. Now, and by run it back, I mean Deandre Ayton, Jay Crowder, Mikal Bridges, Devin Booker, Chris Paul, Cam Johnson, etc. I'm sure some guys will go. I'm sure there'll be like a trade or we'll let some guys go, whatever. If DeAndre Ayton stays, unfortunately, due to the recent success the Suns have had the last 2 years, the expectations and the demand, the pressure, I guess, is going to be. And DeAndre Ayton is already like one of the most criticized players in Suns history, and he's only been in the league for what, 3-4 years, and it's just because there's just so much untapped potential. Excuse me. You know, I think I read a comment. Someone left a comment saying something along the lines of like, "Oh, he's only like 23, and you know, due to everything that's happened, like." He was talking about like his maturity and, you know, I guess what I'm trying to say here is like it's okay to not be 100% all the time because, you know, these are human beings. Players struggle, players get in funks and everything. But if DeAndre Ayton comes back, you got to improve your game, man. You got to be better. You got to show up more than you already do. And I don't mean like entering the game and practices and, you know, being there more than Kyrie and Ben Simmons. I'm not saying that. I mean, like on the court, you need to be engaged 110%. And I know there's like a lot of like stuff with this, like, oh, well, we don't run our offense through DeAndre Ayton and nobody gets him the ball and blah, blah. I'm like, dude, there's just been so many times where DeAndre Ayton has been so soft and so hesitant. I'm like, dude, you are the biggest player on the court most of the time. And you're not dominating these guys. And what happened to your mid-range game, DeAndre Ayton? Like, he's one of the most controversial, debated Suns figures in Suns history. And also, if you take all of that out, he's still a number 1 overall pick. He still has lots to live up to. And sure, he's had great moments. I could spend an hour on a live stream talking about the greatest DeAndre Ayton moments. Like, you guys remember when he had 24 points in the first half once? That was pretty amazing. Remember the Valley Oop? Remember how great he was throughout, you know, last year's finals run? So I guess that's my thoughts. Is that if DeAndre Ayton returns, first off, it's going to be hella awkward. He's going to have to work out whatever is going on with him and Monty Williams, if those reports are true. I've always had a theory that him and Devin Booker legit don't like each other off the court. Now, there might be some things that prove that theory wrong, but even before the bubble, I was telling my friends and stuff, it's like, I don't think DeAndre Ayton and Devin Booker don't like each other. I don't know why. I had that like theory. So I love this comment, you know, that AJ wrote. And he's right. Let's say Kevin Durant's off the table. It's not happening. Sure, pay Ayton. I'm fine with that. Trade him later. Kind of like the Kyrie thing. Sure, you opted in your contract. Great, man. We're still trading you later. But damn it, there better be a huge package for DeAndre Ayton. But like my guy Flex says, I hope I'm pulling up the right tweet here. No, not that tweet. Is it this tweet? Nope, it's this tweet. As my guy Flex says, he'll find out his true value around the league tomorrow. And really within the week, as as June wraps up and we enter July, he will find out his true value. I don't know if the Pistons are going to go after him. I'm a little optimistic about bad NBA teams because the Suns were very bad for a long time. So I've always been like overly optimistic about bad teams like the Pistons, who I think are going to be better. And they already, they were getting some wins here and there last year. And I like what they're doing with Cade Cunningham and Jaden Ivey now. And who else did they get? Jalen Duren, I think they got him or whatever. And they had a great draft, is what I'm saying. They had a great draft last year. Sadiq Bey is a nice player. They have a whole bunch of cap space. And I don't know if they're in on Deandre Ayton as much as we maybe once expected. So let's get to some more comments here and we'll keep going. Jody says the Suns need another ball handler that drives to the basket and can dish, period. Exactly. Having more creators would have been nice during the playoff run. I'm not going to lie. I might have cursed the Suns when I made that tweet comparing them to the 2007 Mavericks. Exactly. That's why I keep talking about teams that won 60 plus games and never went to the finals or got eliminated early or whatever the case may be. Keep Ayton, trade Jay, Larry, or Landry. Is that what you meant to say? And maybe paying for a possible 6-man. Cam J should start. Yeah, I agree with Cam J starting. I think it's time now, especially since these Jay Crowder rumors are flying. I think it's time to probably start Cam Johnson, really unleash what he can become. And I think he's a player that has gotten better as the years have gone on. I think he's a overlooked defender. And I think he's just an all-around solid player. He's a great person too. He's great to listen to. He's a great guy and he loves being part of this team. He's like best friends with Mikal Bridges. And yeah, I love Cam Johnson. I would love to start him and keep him. And I hope that we extend him because he definitely deserves it. In my opinion. Let me see. I'm trying to get caught up on some comments here. Mark writes, an ideal off season would be to bring in a better backup point guard, Schroeder or Rubio possibly, and trade Crowder and or Shamet for a better bench depth at shooting guard and power forward behind Booker and Cam. So I've seen a couple people like Derek says Ricky Rubio. First off, I absolutely love Ricky Rubio. I loved him when he was here because for the first time in years, the Suns actually had like a legit point guard. Remember, this was long before Chris Paul was here, you guys. This was when we were still a pretty bad team. Even with Rubio on our team, we were still pretty bad, if my memory serves me correctly. But we had a guy that, first off, had experience and what I called was a quarterback on the court. And I thought he was pretty good for us, guys. I loved Ricky Rubio. And sure, you have to make sacrifices along the way to get better, which we did. Like, remember when we had Kelly Oubre and then we traded him and, that trading Kelly Oubre and all that led to so many different things. But, and same thing with Rubio and all these other guys. But, I would love Ricky Rubio as a backup point guard on this team. But there's just a lot to it. First off, he played great with Cleveland. And I mean that. I've been praising the Cleveland Cavaliers for a while. They had a great season. They just got plagued with injuries. They should have made the playoffs. They won like 40 something games and they didn't make the playoffs. That's bullshit. But anyways, I think they really like Ricky Rubio and I think their GM is going to go get him back from the Pacers. Although I'm sure the Pacers really liked him too, although he is injured right now. He's still recovering. But in the event that for some reason Cleveland can't get him and he is a free agent, he is available and he is healthy, I would love Ricky Rubio. I just don't know how financially that would work. I'm sure Ricky Rubio would demand some money, but am I confident that Rubio would want to play for the Suns again? Hell yeah. I'm sure he loves Devin Booker. I'm sure he loves what we've built since, he was last on this team. So that's my little rant about Ricky Rubio. And yeah, seen some stuff on Jordan Clarkson too. I've always liked Jordan Clarkson. Good player, good scorer. I wouldn't mind him for the right price. Definitely gives you that scoring and experience and can do a lot of good things out there. I like Jordan Clarkson. AJ says, if we don't match another team, God help us. You know what? I think the NBA gods need to keep blessing the Phoenix Suns, you guys, because we again, I'm not trying to pick on the Suns too much here, you guys, but we blew it. We straight up blew it. We were talking all this smack throughout the season, including myself. And we were like, oh, we're a 64 win Suns team. Never happened in the franchise of history. We're going back to the finals. We're going to win the championship. And we got absolutely embarrassed by the Dallas Mavericks. And on that, I need to take a moment of silence for the Phoenix Suns because we blew it. And teams are going to be on us next year. If you think we were a target last year, because I mean, obviously the Suns made the finals, so teams knew we were good and they were playing harder against us and they were playing better against us this year, they're going to pounce on us even harder because they're going to say, yeah, you won 64 games, so you got fucking embarrassed by the Mavericks. They're going to pounce and they should. I got to take another drink. All right. Let's see. So there is some other. Ooh, thank you for bringing this up. Base God Flashy. Base God Flashy writes, are the Suns keeping Sarge? To be honest, as I was taking my notes for this, I totally forgot about Dario Sarge. He was pretty good and always put up noticeable amount of effort on the court. Thank you for bringing this up. I miss Dario Sarge. I love Dario Sarge. Excuse me. From what I know, there were some rumors around the trade deadline that the Suns were going to try to trade him in his contract. But I think for right now, they're going to keep him. We haven't really heard much. Dario didn't really talk to the media that much. Excuse me. Dario didn't really talk to the media that much this year. I know he's been progressing in his rehab. I'm sure, like, as we speak, he is working right now, getting healthy. Still a good player, in my opinion, you guys. Was a good player before he went down with that injury in the finals 2 years ago or whatever. I hope he's doing well. I think they're going to keep him. He would have helped during the playoffs. I cannot repeat that enough. His ability to create every once in a while, get some points and rebounds would have really helped throughout the playoffs this year. His size alone would have helped. Could I maybe see him getting traded? Possibly, because you got to remember, even if you love somebody, like sometimes the contracts and everything. I think Dario's on a pretty good contract, all things considering. Do I even have? Let me see if I have that on my caps sheet here. Give me a second here, guys. I gotta fix these comments here. Sorry, give me 1 second here. All right, Dario Sarge, where are you at? Let's see. Dario Sarge, not yet. So he's, if I'm correct, he's only here for one more year. He might be with us through the 20. Yeah, I want to say it's one more year, $9 million. Correct me in the comments if I'm wrong about that. My brain's not working. So let me know if my Dario Sarge contract information is correct. But do I think other teams would be interested in him? Absolutely. Do I like him? Yes. Do I think maybe we could get like the Jay Crowder thing? Do I think we could get upgrades? Absolutely. So yeah, let's keep going here though, you guys, because we did get some other Suns news, and it's not really like huge news unless you're like the biggest Aaron Holiday fan, but Mike Scotto from Hoops Hype writes that sources, the Phoenix Suns won't tender a qualifying offer to Aaron Holiday. Hoops Hype has learned Holiday will become an unrestricted free agent. Holiday is known as a defender who averaged 6.8 points per game, shot 44% from three with range, 3-point range with the Suns last season. I thought Aaron Holiday was fine. I mean, don't forget, you guys, that I think the Phoenix Suns literally bought Aaron Holiday. He's a fine player. I don't know if he necessarily got the run that he should have gotten. Did I think that he was like going to be a significant impact on this team? Not necessarily. And I mean, his 3-point shooting's nice. He had some flashes here and there. But I mean, I don't, and according to Dave King from Bright Side of the Sun, we still have his bird rights. And I guess bird rights is like, I forgot what it said on bird rights. I think we can go over the luxury tax if we want to keep Aaron Holiday, something like that. I don't know, but this just probably opens up a little bit more for more free agency. I'm getting a random text from a random person right now. It's kind of freaking me out. Anyways, so I don't know. I guess more room for potential upgrades is what I'm saying. Aaron Holiday, you will be missed. I don't think you're coming back. So honestly, you guys, though, if you got any questions, like if you want me to touch on the Dejounte Murray stuff, I can. If you want me to, if you guys got any questions, let me know. If you guys want to talk about other stuff, let me know. Again, I know a lot of you are here for Suns content. I really do appreciate that. But I kind of gave my thoughts. Let's recap before we talk about whatever. Let's recap. Either we're going to let Deandre Ayton go and we're going to get Kevin Durant, or we're going to let Deandre Ayton go and not get the value back, or we're going to re-sign Deandre Ayton. It's as simple as that. Or we're going to re-sign Deandre Ayton and trade him in the future for whatever. I think we need some ball handlers on this team, playmaking creators. I think we need more scorers. Once again, cannot repeat this enough. You can never have enough 3-and-D wings in the league. I'm not saying your whole like team should be filled with 3-and-D wings, but if you had like a bench full of them and maybe a couple playmakers, I think that would be good. And no matter what happens with Deandre Ayton, I think we need some kind of an answer at, center rebounding. I didn't think we were the best rebounding team this year. I thought we actually decreased in that department. I think we were like the middle of the pack rebounding team, but we weren't as good as we were like a couple years ago. So I think our rebounding needs to get better. And again, recapping, Bismack Biyombo, JaVale McGee, I'd love to have them both back for the right price. And Aaron Holiday most likely is not coming back to the Phoenix Suns. So that is my thoughts. And again, I'll pull up these tweets for those of you who are still watching, or if you're watching later. Here's a tweet that Flex tweeted out a while ago. Let me lower this stuff real quick. This tweet was from June 22nd, 2022. You guys can read it on the screen while I take a sip of my drink. And then Flex tweeted out this stuff last night or tonight, talking about, nothing has changed and the Suns have a unique opportunity. DeAndre Ayton's part of the process, unique opportunities. And then he also tweeted, unless Ayton is willing to come back to Phoenix for less than the max, I believe he's gone. He'll find out his value. Sign and trade is most likely the option. Suns are indeed talking about moving Jay Crowder. Kyrie's situation hasn't changed. And then again, recapping, Gambo talked about how he's hearing that JaVale McGee wants a multi-year deal. Several teams are interested. Milwaukee, Dallas, Brooklyn, and Miami is emerging as the favorites for Jay Crowder. Then he also said not 100% sold that Phoenix will trade Jay Crowder. But he basically said that Miami's probably the favorites. But he also said that he would be surprised if it was the Boston Celtics. So Excuse me. So that's a recap. I'm just checking Twitter to see if I'm missing anything, but free agency starts. I mean, I kind of feel like free agency has already started because again, we've already seen some activity, which I don't even know if I want to touch on because so much happened today. Like Dejounte Murray and Trae Young, which I kind of want to talk about the Hawks real quick. I have some thoughts on them, and I have some thoughts on a random team, but it's just because I saw an interview on them. So later, if you guys want me to talk about the Orlando Magic, I will, who just drafted Pablo Banchero, by the way. But first, big shout out to Mark Jackson, who has been in a ton of live streams, great supporter. And thank you so much, Mark, for being generous enough to donate a $10 super chat. You were so generous, man. God bless you, brother. I appreciate you, man. He says, I still like what Holiday brought to the team. I still think we need a 3-point specialist to get the rest of the team sparked into making them keep our guys we have. Let me read you that last part. Keep our guys we have. That's probably something I didn't talk about tonight. I sort of touched on like keeping Deandre Ayton, Cam Johnson, Mikal Bridges, all that. I see that's what's so is perplexing, the word I want to use. That's what's so confusing and perplexing about the Suns roster is I wonder, and look, Mark, I'm not saying I disagree with you. I agree. You should bring a lot of your guys back. You should not trade your guys. We've seen successful teams do that in the past. I wonder if continuity, though, killed the Suns because sure, players were dealing with injuries like Cam Payne, Torrey Craig, and all that. But I'm like, I kind of want to see the Suns run it back because maybe DeAndre Ayton's super motivated now than he has been ever. And maybe he will be 110%, 10 games out of 10. You know what I mean? And maybe players like Cameron Payne and Landry Shamet will actually show up and produce better and live up to their contracts and play for the value of their contracts. So I agree. You know, you probably should keep your guys, but the Suns are just in such a I know it sounds cliche, but like they are in a window, and I don't know how big that window. I don't know how long how long that window is going to last. But I also like what you said here. I still think we need a 3-point specialist, keyword, 3-point specialist to get the rest of the team sparked into making them keep our guys we have. Do you guys remember those nights? Which, by the way, before I start, we just passed an hour. I love you guys. Cheers to you. Happy NBA free agency. So excited. I know it's the off season. There's no basketball being played, but I love the NBA. And I love you guys. We have 100 people in here. You guys are all amazing. I love you. Cheers. Do you guys remember those nights when the Suns everything would be clicking and the Suns were just on fire? They just could not miss. That's what we need more often. This league has turned into a 3-point era. And again, we've talked about it a few times tonight. We need like more scorers on this team. So I agree. We need like a spark plug 3-point specialist that can just ignite these guys to start making their threes, to start scoring. So great comment there from Mark. Appreciate the generous $10 super chat. Thank you, Mark. I hope I didn't miss any of your guys' questions or anything. I'm trying to get caught up here. Excuse me. Okay, let's see. Sorry, I'm just making sure I didn't miss any really good questions or chats here, and then we'll move on. So The Dejounte Murray thing, I do kind of want to touch on that. And again, I know you guys are probably all here for Sun stuff, and I do greatly appreciate that. But stick around. I have some thoughts on just other NBA teams and all that. Let me go to Woj's Twitter first because I want to make sure I'm getting all these details right. By the way, guys, tomorrow and throughout the rest of free agency and stuff, make sure you're checking the right sources. Obviously, having a blue check mark next to your name helps, but make sure these sources are correct. Make sure it's not like a fake Woj. Now, some of these like local reporters, they do have information. Sometimes they hear about stuff before Woj and Shams, but so let me make sure I got this correct. If my internet wants to work here, okay. Woj had a lot today, you guys. Like, so the Atlanta Hawks are trading Danilo Gallinari and multiple first-round picks to San Antonio for Spurs All-Star guard Dejounte Murray. Which, by the way, Dejounte Murray had a really good season this year, you guys. I want to say he was close to averaging a triple-double. I would have to pull it up. I swear I saw something that he was close to a triple-double. I want to say it was like 20-something points. I would have to pull it up. Let's do it right now. Screw it. We're gonna do it. I'm gonna pull it up right now and see what he averaged. And then I'll give you guys my thoughts. 21 points this year, 8.3 rebounds, 9.2 assists. So whether you love or hate Russell Westbrook, that goes to show how hard averaging a triple-double really is. Dejounte Murray almost did that. The dude is a solid defender. The dude is a gym rat. And I know that's easy to say about today's basketball and today's NBA, but I mean it. He is always in the gym. The dude loves playing basketball. Now, if I read some things correctly earlier, I don't think this was a fallout with Greg Popovich. I think Greg Popovich gave his blessing. In fact, Dejounte Murray has posted pictures of him and Greg Popovich and has praised his name. So I don't think it was a Greg Popovich thing. Maybe there's like, I don't know really who their GM is and their owner. Maybe it was that, or maybe just Dejounte Murray just said, I want another opportunity. Trade me. Now, I know a lot of Suns fans and I guess NBA fans. Sorry, I just hit my microphone. I know a lot of Suns fans, and rightfully so, are saying, like, how come we didn't get Dejounte Murray? Especially for what you traded him for, with all due respect to Danilo Gallinari, who I also like Danilo Gallinari, and multiple first-round picks. It would have been awesome to have Dejounte Murray, who's a really good player, you guys. He really is. I don't know, man. And I've been seeing some things on like, how come James Jones didn't get this guy? How come James Jones didn't get that guy? How come we didn't offer player X and multiple draft picks for this guy? This is just where we just need to have faith. Hopefully, James Jones didn't pass up a great opportunity. Now, one thing I've neglected to talk about on this channel is, and I guess I kind of talked about it recently, but I guess I could talk about it more as, you know, the months and days go on, is I wonder if the Suns really do need to start investing and developing into a future backup point guard, or maybe two future backup point guards. And that's kind of where the Dejounte Murray stuff comes in, is like, he would have been awesome for the Suns. Because one, what is his specialty? Defense. He put up great numbers too this past season. And he's been solid. The Spurs just haven't been that good. And speaking of the Spurs, they got some young talent. I'm not saying the Spurs are like in a full rebuild where they're going to be like garbage for years, because I don't think that's how the Spurs operate. but they got some nice young talent. And that team's going to be interesting in a few years. So that's kind of my thought on the whole Dejounte Murray thing. And again, I don't know I don't know. Like maybe James Jones wasn't even, I don't know. I wish I could answer for James Jones. I like there's so much I want to say, but I don't want to like sound stupid. I'm like, maybe James Jones didn't want to give up the picks. Maybe he didn't know how a Chris Paul, Booker, Murray lineup was going to work. I don't fucking know, you guys. Like, I wish I could give you guys that answer. I wish you guys could come to this channel and be like, why didn't we trade for Dejounte Murray, Sons Geek? Tell me, and I would give you the right answer. But he would have been fucking awesome on this team. That's all I got to say about that. Now, I want to talk about the Atlanta Hawks for a minute. And again, if you guys got a question, let me know. Suns question, NBA question, let me know. I'd love to give my thoughts. We're already over an hour. I'm enjoying my truly. Life is good. Love you guys. I want to talk about the Hawks for a minute. Excuse me. Not Suns related, but just got an update on my phone saying there's mutual interest in Malik Monk and the Sacramento Kings per Jake Fisher. That's my boy right there. I love Jake Fisher. Anyways, so the Atlanta Hawks, their GM is Travis Schlenk, who worked for the Warriors for a few seasons, was part of that championship culture. I think he was their assistant GM for a while. Excuse me. He even went on record saying that, excuse me. He even went on record saying that that they should have made moves. Remember when they went to the Eastern Conference Finals like a couple of years ago? He said that he wishes that he would have made moves in order to like get better and stay competitive, because that team was a disaster. And sure, I think they had some injuries and everything, but that team was a disaster this year, and they obviously didn't have the season they wanted. And they're basically now, if I heard and read correctly, they said that basically everybody but Trae Young is available, and that is obviously showing its true face. And if I were the Hawks, I would do the same thing. After last season, I'd be like, yeah, everybody but Trae Young's available. Kevin Huerter is probably going to get traded. John Collins is probably going to get traded, especially now that Dejounte Murray's there. And I think I also read something like saying like the Hawks are not done, that they are going to continue to make moves. So that's my thought on the Hawks. They'll probably be competitive next year. It's going to be a lot of fun to see what a lineup of Trae Young and Dejounte Murray is going to look like. I hope Clint Capella I hope that injury recovers. He had a really kind of scary injury, I think through the playoffs or the play-in tournament or whatever. So yeah, the Hawks are an interesting team. Definitely an interesting team right there. So, now I do want to talk about the Orlando Magic, and I know that that's random. You're probably like, Suns Geek, who cares about the Orlando Magic? They got the first pick. Whoop-de freaking do. But before I talk about the Orlando Magic, I'm just going to get caught up on some comments here. Ingram I can't talk. Ingram Prod writes, the Suns can make up for their lackluster rebound and defensive presence by getting Clint Capella. I agree with you, but for the right price. Clint Capella is a great player and everything, great size, great defender, experience in this league, but for the right price. And I also wanted to get to another comment here, if I can find it. Andrew writes, can we get back to a Sabonis deal? Ooh. I think that unfortunately has sailed. That ship has sailed. Here's why. I follow a few Sacramento Kings people, and I know there's like this narrative, and it's a fair narrative. The Kings have just, you guys think the Phoenix Suns have had some bad luck, and trust me, they have. the Kings have the longest playoff drought in the NBA. And they've, the narrative around them is that they pick a player before like a great player. You know what I mean? Like Marvin Bagley before Luca and all these other players. It's you think the Suns have bad luck? Damn it, the Kings have worse luck. So shout out to those real Sacramento Kings fans out there. Anyways, I think the Sabonis thing has sailed because one, he was already traded. I think it's extremely unlikely they would trade him again. I think the Kings have like a 2-year window to keep Sabonis before I think his contract ends or whatever. So maybe that young core that they're building there, De'Aaron Fox, Keegan Murray, somebody who I'm probably forgetting, and Domantas Sabonis. Maybe that's their like 2-year window to say, stay here, Sabonis. But yeah, in terms of the Suns getting Sabonis, I think that ship has sailed. There were lots of rumors. The Suns were connected to Sabonis, and he's a great player. He's an all-star player, in my opinion. But I think that ship has sailed. So let me talk about the Orlando Magic real quick. Let me go on my Orlando Magic rant here. Obviously, they have the number 1 overall pick. Got Pablo Banchero, great player from Duke. I like what they're building in Orlando. I don't know why either. Maybe it's because I'm a fan of bad teams. Because for years the Suns were a bad team, and I kept believing in this team, and I kept covering this team on YouTube, and I kept going to every single game I possibly could. And now we're good, despite what happened in the playoffs. We're a good team. We're a contender. The Orlando Magic got Banchero. I'm totally forgetting their roster. Markelle Fultz. Wow. Let me pull up their roster because I totally just blanked out on what I was trying to say. Franz Wagner. Kind of like a Swift Army knife in a way of a player. He was a lottery pick too. All right, here we go. Let's see. I got their roster pulled up because I'm stupid and I totally forgot what I was talking about. Cole Anthony. How can I forget about him? They got Cole Anthony. They got Wendell Carter Jr., who had a good season this year. RJ Hampton, Jonathan Isaac, if he's healthy, Jalen Suggs. I like what the Magic are building in Orlando. It's going to take a few years. I saw an interview with their GM, Jeff like Welts or whatever, something like that. And he talked about drafting Pablo Banchero and everything, but he mentioned like they do have some decisions to make. Like I think Mo Bamba, entered unrestricted free agency, which I'll talk about Mo Bamba in a minute. But they do have some decisions to make. But like I mentioned, Cole Anthony, Franz Wagner, Pablo Banchero, RJ Hampton, all these like young potential filled guys. Markelle Fultz, who I could spend so much time talking about Markelle Fultz. I feel bad for Markelle Fultz, man. Everything that happened to him throughout his NBA career. I hope he has a great comeback, and I hope he's a great player one day. I like what they're building, but their GM basically said in that interview, like, we're still probably a couple of years away, but we like what we're building, and we don't want to be one of the worst teams in the NBA. He says something along the lines like, we want guys that are going to work, that can play multiple positions, have high IQ, and he hopes that they're at least a winning team soon. Not really necessarily a contender, but yeah. So that's my Orlando Magic rant. I really did want to talk about that. I really did. I like what the Magic are building. So Mo Bamba, I'm going to pull up his page here. I think he last season made about $7 million, 10.6 points per game, 8.1 rebounds, 1.2 assists. His size is incredible. I think he could get a little bit better on the rebounding in that category. And I don't think he's obviously lived up to what pick was he? A 5th pick, 6th pick? Yes, pick number 6 in the 2018 NBA draft. by the way. Same pick, same draft as Deandre Ayton, by the way. Would I like him as a potential prospect for the Suns to bring in? Yeah. Let me tell you guys, this guy has incredible size. And I will tell you this, from a character standpoint, you will not have to worry about Mo Bamba. Let me tell you that right off the back. I've seen so many interviews with him before he was drafted, after he was drafted, even last year. I've seen so many interviews with him. He is a stand-up guy, great guy. So, like with all this Deandre Ayton stuff going on and like certain players on our team, you wouldn't have to worry about a character issue with him. But obviously, he would have to improve. I don't know what the contract would look like. I don't know how much money he's going to demand. But for what the Suns need, like a nice, serviceable backup big man, hell yeah, I'd want Mo Bamba. So, yeah, that's my thoughts on Mo Bamba. Ingram Prod writes, Suns Geek Buddy healed the Phoenix because of the 3-point specialist. Also, he's not that expensive. I've always liked Buddy Hield. But yeah, like kind of like AJ says, how will we get Buddy though? He's probably going to demand a lot of money. He's a great shooter, great shooter. He is that 3-point specialist that the Suns could use, but like, I don't know about Buddy Hield. I wouldn't mind having him on the team, but yeah. So honestly, you guys, I think that's it. If you guys want to talk about anything else, it could be about Batman. You guys know I love Batman. I'll probably go for maybe like 5 more minutes. Unless there's like a really good question, let me know. Mark, thank you for sticking around, man. Thank you for the $10 super chat. Oops, pulled up the wrong comment. Says, thanks, Brandon. I got to go to bed. Thank you guys for staying up with me. I don't know what time zone it's in where you guys are at. It's pretty late here. It's about midnight here. But yeah, I'm really excited for free agency and everything. Rick says, I would love to get Duncan Robinson. I love Duncan Robinson, but again, don't know what his contract would look like. Don't know how much he would demand, but great shooter. A guy that knows the game. He's got his own podcast. I haven't really listened to his podcast much, but he's got his own podcast. Very smart guy. Again, another character guy. So Suns Night Hoops writes, keep talking, it helps me sleep. And that is a creepy looking profile picture, man. Oh my god, it's late. It's so late, guys. Super Mario Hoops writes, Bradley Beal opted out, but I think he's staying still. Yeah, I think I agree with you, man. Unless the Wizards just like collapse from within, I think he'll stay, but he always could ask for a trade. I'd like to see him on another team. I've seen a couple people, or it might have been you, Abraham, write about Juan Toscano Anderson and Gary Payton II. They're free agents in the Warriors. I doubt the Warriors will let go of Gary Payton. I don't know why. I just get that like sense that they really like him, and he had a pretty good season. But Juan, I can maybe see them letting him go. I was surprised with the Warriors on draft day because they had picked 28, 55, and like 58. And let me Google who they got because I completely forgot. Forgot who they drafted. Probably was somebody solid because they're one of the best organizations in sports and they know what they're doing. But what I'm trying to say is that yeah, they got Ryan Rollins and Patrick Baldwin Jr. and somebody else. I've heard pretty good things about Patrick Baldwin Jr., but I don't know much about Ryan Rollins. But my point being is that they had 3 picks, who, in my opinion, they didn't need, but they're probably trying to they're probably wanting to keep developing all that young talent And again, as long as they have Steph Curry, they are contenders no matter what. So again, I guess my point being is that I was surprised they didn't trade those picks. And as the draft as a whole, this was one of the most unpredictable drafts ever. I think teams played it safe. I think teams saw that. I think me personally, I think this draft class was solid. Some people call it like a crapshoot, or there might be a lot of busts, which who knows. But I think teams were like, you know what, there could be a lot of depth in this draft, a lot of potential. Let's just stick with our picks. Let's keep our picks. That's why I don't think we saw many like trade packages besides like what happened with the Knicks and the Thunder. But the Thunder got like 1 billion picks. You guys get what I'm saying? Let me finish my drink here. If you guys are watching on the screen, it's like right here. I'm just going to finish this and then we'll wrap this up. We'll probably end it at an hour and 30 minutes. So we got about 7 minutes left. So cheers. So in closing, happy NBA free agency, because free agency does begin today. For a while, we didn't really know when it was. I don't think the NBA officially announced it, but it is today, June 30th. I think it starts at 3 p.m. Eastern time. Time zones are confusing, so go to Google if you don't know what time zone, how all that works. It's already been crazy. I feel like the off season has already began because we had trades prior to the draft. We had so much stuff go on today, some stuff that I didn't even touch on. Excuse me. So again, just basically, excuse me. The NBA off season's here. Strap in. NBA Summer League is July 7th through the 17th. Get ready for that. I wish I was going this year. For anybody who cares, I am visiting Phoenix. I lived there for a long time. I'm going to be visiting for about a week in July. Super excited. Going to film some vlogs and stuff. And obviously, if there's any Suns breaking news, I'll find a computer somewhere. I'll go to a friend's house, or I'll just film it right off my iPhone and give my thoughts. But really excited for that. So yeah, that's kind of my thoughts. I don't know what's going to happen with Deandre Ayton. I think Jay Crowder's probably going to get traded because we keep hearing Jay Crowder trade rumors. I would love to bring back Bismack Biyombo and or JaVale McGee or both for the right prices. And that's it. So happy NBA free agency, you guys. Happy NBA offseason. Like I said, we're going to end this in about 5 minutes, but I will read a couple comments here. Super Mario Hoop says, I lost so much faith in Woj in this draft. Bro had us all confused on Jalen Duren. Then said Jabari Smith is going to Orlando. Then said Jaden Ivey to Sacramento is basically a done deal, like WTF. I agree with you. That's why whether it's Woj or Shams or like Chris Haynes or whoever, sometimes the local guys have it. You know what I mean? Yeah, Nicholas says Pistons are ready for that play-in. I'm serious, you guys. I like what the Pistons are building. That's another team I should have went on a rant on. I know I kind of talked about the Pistons earlier, but they won a little bit more games this year than they had in previous years, if I remember correctly. And they're building something nice there, you guys. I like what the Pistons are doing. Mark writes, Malcolm Brogdon is available. How about Crowder and a second rounder? He can play the point and would be a small forward for now. I've made some videos on Malcolm Brogdon. The health obviously concerns me, but he's a guy that can do a lot on the court. I think that would probably be a fair trade. He would also help with playmaking as well. But is that like an immediate trade? I think the Suns need to make like immediately. Probably not. Do I think Malcolm Brogdon will get traded? Absolutely. The Pacers are a team to look out for, you guys. They have a lot of assets. They have a lot of things they could do this offseason. I don't know their salary cap situation off the top of my head, but yeah, the Pacers. Look out for them. I think they're going to have a very busy offseason. So thank you, Mark. Appreciate it. David writes, Gabriel Lundberg, Franz. I don't know who Franz is. Kai Soto. We signing these guys or what? Don't get me started on the Kai Soto thing. Kai Soto didn't get drafted for a reason. Sure, I know Monty Williams talked about him and all that. He's not coming to the Phoenix Suns, you guys. Extremely unlikely Kai Soto, the phenom or whatever, from forgot where he's from because my brain is fried. He's not coming to the Suns. Gabriel Ife Lundberg, though, has committed, to my knowledge, to play in Suns Summer League. I'd love to keep him around, keep developing him. So we'll see what happens. All right, last one for the night. Let's see. I'll do a speed round. Suns need an elite big man like maybe Randall, Robert Williams, because the front court is very lackluster. I get what you're saying with Robert Williams, and I really like Robert Williams, but he's probably not coming to the Suns, especially since the Celtics just made the finals. I think that's extremely unlikely. I get your vision, though. Julius Randle, maybe. The Knicks, I don't know what the Knicks are doing. Will Cam Johnson get a starting role over Jay Crowder? Hopefully. Excuse me, I just burped again. Brogdon is going to the Mavs to fill Brunson's void. I could see that actually, Super Mario Hoops. I like that. Abraham writes, Ish Wainwright, what will happen to him? Maybe NBA Summer League. Maybe. Having him would be nice. I mean, I think this is another situation where this is a guy who loves Phoenix, wants to be in Phoenix. He even went on record once saying that he wants to play for the Suns forever. He had some good moments here and there, Ish Wainwright. And again, in terms of like fan love and everything, fans love him. I think for the right price, you bring back Ish Wainwright. So I think that's it, guys. Last question. What would you think about Ayton and Crowder for Gobert and Clarkson? You see, Ayton's a better offensive player than Rudy Gobert, but Rudy Gobert is a better defensive player than Ayton. So I wish I had the brain power to answer this. I guess I'll just end it as I'm not saying no, but I'm not saying yes either. But I like Jordan Clarkson. I really would like Jordan Clarkson on this team. That's it, guys. My brain is fried. It's late. I wanted to come on here and just say my final thoughts before free agency starts. I'm going to set multiple alarms tomorrow because I'm sure we'll hear some news early. I do have to work for about a few hours tomorrow and Friday as well. But then I have a 3-day weekend and I do have gaps in between my shift and everything. So I'll do my best to provide you with the best Suns content possible, which I always do. If you guys are new to this channel, that is my absolute number one goal, is to provide you with honest and the best Suns content possible. I've been covering this team for a long time. I've been doing this YouTube stuff for a long time, and I encourage you guys to subscribe, especially if you've made it this far into the live stream. You guys are absolute legends, and this was a legendary live stream. So stay tuned, more videos. hopefully more live streams. I've always said that live streams are like my Achilles heel, and I need to do more of them. Doing my best to do that. So stay tuned. More off-season content. Really excited for July. Got a lot of stuff planned for July. So on that note, I'm out, you guys. Make sure to Hulk smash that like button. Share the live stream. You know, my friend Philly Take with RB said it perfectly. He's like, if you want to know about like the 10th man on the roster, this is the channel for you. And I mean that. This Suns Geek channel, that's the kind of stuff you're going to get here. I know there's a lot of other Suns content creators out there, but you are going to get the honest and the optimistic information on this team. And you're going to get information on like the 10th, 11th man of the roster. You're going to hear stuff that you wouldn't hear on other Suns channels is what I'm saying. So Jose says, be safe. Appreciate you, Suns Geek. Appreciate you, Jose. Thank you for saying be safe. All of you be safe out there. It's a crazy world we live in. Stay safe out there. Be kind to people. Just love on people, man. And yeah, I'm praying for you all. God bless you guys. Stay safe. Happy NBA free agency. I'm so excited, you guys. It's going to be a crazy off season. And on that note, God bless you guys. Go Suns and peace out.